Joining us now is Dahlia Lithwick, senior editor at Slate, host of the podcast Amicus, and author of Lady Justice, Women, the Law, and the Battle to Save America. Dahlia, I am such a fan of everything that you write and your thinking on these matters. I was shocked. I've been shocked reading about Clarence Thomas and the gifts he has accepted. There is a law that says that justices must disclose real estate sales over $1,000. He did not do that. The year that Harlan Crow bought Justice Thomas's house, Thomas disclosed a stained glass medallion on his disclosure form and said nothing about a $140,000 real estate sale. How does that work?
It's of a piece with so much, right? I mean, the stuff from last week that ProPublica reported, these $500,000 jaunts on, mega jets and super yachts and all of it. And Thomas uses this loophole, this kind of like hospitality loophole, and maybe he doesn't have to, disclose this. And you may recall last week when he had to issue a statement, which is telling, he doesn't usually do that. He more or less said, I asked some guys and they told me that I was cool, which is just an amazing from a textualist, right? Read the statute.
Right, exactly.
But this one is really bad because, as you said, there's no wiggle room. There's no way to look at this statute, and there's no way to look at the need to disclose and fudge it. And the fact that we've still heard nothing from Justice Thomas, nothing from Chief Justice Roberts. There seems to be the vibe that maybe we'll just hope this goes away the same way we hope Ginny Thomas's activities around January 6th went away. What's interesting is the feeling out there in the world is that this one is sticking.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about, you point out in your most recent piece that Thomas has had a history of being, shall we say, anti-disclosure. Can you talk about that history?
Yeah, I co-wrote this piece with my colleague Mark Joseph Stern today, and one of the things that we were noticing is that he has always staked out really extreme, almost loner positions. If you look at Citizens United, he has this whole discursion of how, you can't have disclosure because people will come and harass you because the internet, they're going to make you feel bad. We cite other cases where time and time again, he has this notion that if you're forced to disclose, people are going to come after you and they're going to bully you. And it's a really interesting problem because it seems now that he's been writing this into the doctrine seemingly for years and years and kind of secretly living the same ethos.
Literally getting money from this billionaire while he's like, disclosure is a bad thing. No one should have to disclose things.
Right. And that if you come after me for failing to disclose, you're a bully.
Yes.
Right. I mean, we're living the perfect feedback loop where he gets to say, look at these people harassing me. It must be that disclosure is bad.
But there are other conservative justices that don't necessarily feel the same way as Thomas on the issue of disclosure.
Right. We quote Justice Scalia in our piece, who just lit into him in one of these cases and was like, this is just cowardice. There was a case where Justice Thomas was taking the position that you put your name on a referendum for a ballot initiative, in this case, anti-gay marriage ballot initiative, and that disclosure of your identity means that you're subject to reprisals and violent harassment. Justice Scalia just took him to the woodshed and was like, this is just cowardice.
Stand up for what you're doing. This is the home of the brave. I do wonder if you said this time might be different. Do you think there could be any punitive measures taken here?
It's so hard to know, Alex. There's this sense that, Merrick Garland should do something. The court should be forced to have ethics rules. Somebody should appoint an inspector general. There's a sense that when you listen to, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse and others, that there is momentum, but that in some ways to foist that momentum onto the court to act on its own behalf is a bridge too far. So the question then becomes, can we do something congressionally? Can you impose a code of ethics from, Congress? Can you do a thing that isn't the court conforming its behavior to the ethics rules that every other federal judge has to abide by? And I don't know if either the Attorney General or the administration or somebody at the Justice Department is going to say, enough's enough.
Merrick Garland, a nation turns its lonely eyes to you. How much is this casting a shadow over the decision that's on the court's front burner right now, which is the mifepristone decision, which it's amazing that it hasn't been thrown out for standing. But here we are, and they have a couple days to deal with this. Do you think this figures it all in? And how do you see that playing out?
I think there are so many swirling plates. And I think that the court is still recovering from the Dobbs leak last year and the unbelievable non-investigation into the Dobbs leak. I think the court is way behind in terms of publishing written opinions this year. The pace is unbelievably slow. The last thing the court wanted was to have Dobbs land on its doorstep again with a big "I told you so" winky emoji. Like, really? You told us we'd be able to have interstate travel, and you told us that this would be decided by the political branches and not the judiciary. So to have this come back to the court while everything else feels like the wheels coming off has to be a nightmare for the justices. And I do think that the judge in Washington State slightly jammed them by saying, pick a lane, we can't both be right. And I think that this is a nightmare for the court because the last thing they want this term is this on top of affirmative action, the Indian Child Welfare Act, the Independent State. It's all piling up. And now we've got this.